All right, happy Wednesday, everybody, and happy game day preview. Cory Curtis, Julian Mininsohn here getting you ready for Saturday's action in the Southeastern Conference with the Vanderbilt Commodores and the Tennessee Volunteers. And I know we like to throw around these words a lot, but Julian, this is a big one.
Man, I mean, especially Vanderbilt coming off a bye week, recharging the batteries, trying to figure out what went wrong in that Alabama game. A lot of uncharacteristic turnovers.
Do you remember what happened last year when Vanderbilt came off the bye?
No, actually I don't.
They lost at Missouri in overtime in a thrilling game, had the bye, and came home and beat Alabama.
Yeah, I remember that. You know, playing LSU, it starts that continuation of string of games that are really tough, ranked opponents. That's why they have the second toughest schedule.
Got to have this one.
You need to have this one because it keeps you. I know we talked about the playoff. You know, it is realistic for this Vanderbilt team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keeps them in the picture.
You don't have to apologize for bringing it up.
Well, I think it's because, you know, a lot of media laughed at them at the start of the year when Diego Pavia said, we want to compete for national championships.
Yeah.
And they are in the mix right now.
Absolutely.
And beating LSU keeps you in the mix. Losing to LSU gets you out of the mix.
Let's talk about some of the history of this game and just how wildly the perception of Vanderbilt has changed. Because I'm first going to say this. In my life, I never thought I'd see Vanderbilt favored to beat a 10th-ranked LSU team. Never. But they are.
Yes, Vanderbilt, they're favored in an SEC game for the first time since 2018. So that's just any SEC opponent.
I think it's like 55 games.
Yeah, I think it was something around there.
That's
55, 56 games.
That is crazy.
This is the first time that Vanderbilt is favored over a top 10 opponent since 1978.
I was 7.
I wasn't even a thought.
No.
And this is the first time that Vanderbilt's favored over LSU in 77 years. So, hey, props to Clark Lee, man, because that is where this program is right now.
That's 77 years. That's pre the big war, right? No, not quite. Not quite. That's like Korea.
That is a long time. So, I mean, it's all a testament to Clark Lee and Diego Pavia and where this team has developed since the beginning of last year and where they are now.
So when the line opened, Vanderbilt was a 1.5 favorite. It has been bet up to 2.5.
Yes.
Julian, why?
I think it's because, number one, Vanderbilt's coming off of a bye week. They're going to be at home. They've played pretty much every game tough. Had it not been for maybe 2 turnovers on the road against Alabama, you're in that game.
Red zone turnovers.
2 red zone turnovers. I mean, that's, think of the point switch there. And LSU has been really struggling. They haven't exactly.
But their uniforms are awesome.
We'll give them that.
Okay.
We'll give them that. But yeah, offensively, with one of the best quarterbacks in the country, in Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah. But they're not scoring points.
They're not scoring points. They can't run the football. And they're going to have to go on the road to a recharged Vanderbilt team that's, playing kind of for their playoff lives. I think that's probably why you get the 2.5 there. You get the point. The extra point there if you're Vanderbilt.
The thing about LSU is, they're going to have crazy athletes all over the field. They just are. In the lesson that I'm interested in for Vanderbilt in this one, and maybe the game doesn't go the way the Alabama game went. They got to stick with running the football. And that's not to say that Diego Pavia can't throw it, because he absolutely can. But they're really good at running the football. I think they're averaging over 6 yards a carry for the season. All right, you got to stick with that, and they got a lot of guys who can do it. I mean, Cedric Alexander is very good, but they've got more guys who can tote the rock as well.
Yeah, and that's what's wearing down their opponents over the course of a game is they don't want to play them anymore and get hit anymore at the end of the fourth quarter.
And they didn't wear down Alabama.
They didn't.
Because they didn't run it enough.
They didn't run enough. I will say LSU's defense is what's keeping them in a lot of these games. Yeah. They are a top 5 defense. I go back to the Florida game when they played Florida a few weeks ago, which the offense didn't look great, but they had 5 picks on DJ Lagway, and that was basically what kept LSU from getting upset in that game. So you take that all away by running the football on them and not having to be put in a passing down situation where that very good LSU secondary with all the athletes you're talking about can thrive. I think that's in the platoon of running backs that they have, from N.K. Young to Trey Richardson. That's what's helping Vanderbilt in a lot of these games is there's not one back carrying the load like a Tony Pollard for the Titans.
Yeah. Well, Clark Lee and Cedric Alexander spoke with me yesterday.
It's another running back.
Well, he's their best running back.
Yeah.
Spoke about the matchup with LSU yesterday.
I mean, a lot for this program, a lot for this team. I mean, we try to take every week by week, go 1-0 each and every week. So for us to come out here and beat LSU would be great for our team and our university because we haven't beat them in so long.
LSU is maybe the best defensive team you will have faced so far. What's the key to getting the run game going against their defense?
I'm not gonna lie, if we play Vanderbilt football, it'll take care of itself. LSU could be the best or the worst or whatever they do. If we play Vanderbilt football, we can do good things on the field.
I mean, their defense is elite, and we have to. The way we have success is not worrying too much about them. It's our process, our system, execution of what we do, because we believe in our offense. And so I think we have things, inherent in our system, in our process that will challenge them too. It's going to be about how we execute, how we create and find the space that's there. They close the space really rapidly. It's how do we create space in the pocket for Diego? How do we commit to that run game that we need more out of in the second half against Alabama? And how do we also have the patience, because they're going to get us off schedule at times? I mean, a defense like this is so disruptive.
I think the thing that's remarkable when you hear these sound bites, and we've been hearing them for a while, it doesn't matter who Vanderbilt plays anymore. They, in their own minds, know we're good enough to beat that team. We don't need to get lucky. We don't need to out-scheme them. We just, like Cedric said, we just need to play our game. If we play our game, we're going to be okay. Now, LSU doesn't want to let them play their game, but so they want to play their game. But, I mean, that's just a mindset that Vanderbilt's really never been able to have before, that we're ready to go line up with the elites and get it done.
That's where Diego Pavia comes in.
Yeah.
I mean, Clark Lee is such a even-keeled guy. Mm-hmm. I mean, he is just so here, and Diego's the exact opposite. and if Diego talks in a locker room, and I'm like any player in that locker room, no matter what side of the ball, I'm believing what that guy says.
Sure.
And it started with them believing they can beat Alabama last year, and they doing it, and then them believing they can beat Virginia Tech on the road, South Carolina. And the more you do that, the more it becomes a habit, and you don't have to convince me anymore. I know that we are good enough at our best to beat anybody in this conference.
Well, I mean, and they were good enough to beat Alabama 2 weeks ago, had they not turned the football over.
Yeah, which is uncharacteristic. They were the best at taking care of the football last year.
Yeah. And so LSU has a loss. Vanderbilt has a loss. So this is, it's a must-win for both teams.
Yeah.
I mean, because if whoever loses this game, there is no margin for error. I think Pat O'Donnell was on the show with me yesterday, and we were talking about, or no, maybe it was someone else I was talking. Never mind. But regardless, if Vanderbilt wins this game, they're going to be ranked at least 14th in the country. At least.
Yeah.
Because then LSU would have lost. Tennessee, Alabama, that loser is going to have 2 losses. Georgia plays Ole Miss. Now, Ole Miss is undefeated, but there's a chance Georgia has 2 losses.
Yeah.
And those teams, that's just in the SEC.
Yeah.
Those teams could all potentially fall.
And you're looking at the SEC and which team then at that point would have an inside track at, getting to a playoff. Vanderbilt's right up there.
Yeah.
LSU after Vandy has number 4 ranked Texas A&M. They've got Alabama after that. And then they go in a string of games, Arkansas, Western Kentucky, Oklahoma, who knows what they're going to look like at that point. So this is, like you mentioned, a must-win for either team.
Texas A&M and Alabama still?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't want to have 2 losses when you've got to play those 2 games.
Yeah, exactly. And for Vanderbilt's sake, you got Mizzou, You got Texas who fought back into the rankings this past week.
Yep.
And you still have Tennessee.
Yep.
So
they certainly can't have 2 losses.
Yeah, you can't have 2 losses. It's all right in front of you if you're Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to win. You got to figure out a way. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see the way they come back off the bye because
it was needed.
Last year they proved they could get better off of the bye, and as we have continued to say, they're a better football team. And it's funny because Brian Kelly wins a lot, and he gets a lot of grief for a guy who wins a lot. But I think that there's a feeling that he can be had in this game. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think the biggest thing for me is which team is going to control kind of tempo.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the Vanderbilt run game and the offensive line, and if they can make it feel like a Vanderbilt game.
I'm really curious what the crowd's going to be.
I mean, LSU travels well.
They do. I mean, but Vandy has sold out the stadium for non-conference games, so their fans are invested. Yeah. All right, but are they invested enough to keep LSU out of the stadium?
11 a.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah, I wonder what because you have an allotment that goes to LSU.
Yes.
And I don't know it's probably like 1,500 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And so how many Vanderbilt fans sell their tickets to LSU?
And it's also the first SEC home game for Vanderbilt this season. So we haven't been able to, and it seems kind of late, but we haven't been able to see with this new and improved ranked Vanderbilt team what that crowd split is going to be like when another SEC team, particularly a blue blood program, comes into town, and what that's like.
Kemp, bring up the football schedule for Saturday. This is on News 2, and I will argue this is the greatest college football lineup
pretty darn good.
I have ever seen on one network in one day for the regular season. And it starts with number 10 LSU and number 17 Vanderbilt at 11 o'clock right here on News 2. At 2:30, undefeated and 5th-ranked Ole Miss at number 9 Georgia. And then in prime time, it's Tennessee, number 11, at number 6 Alabama. We're going to preview that game coming up next year on Game Day Preview. But the lowest ranked team in action is the 17th ranked Vanderbilt Commodores. That is a gauntlet.
As an
football.
AP voter, I'm going to have a busy weekend trying to put the puzzle pieces together of after the results happen. But yeah, pretty good. Yeah, that Ole Miss Georgia game, Ole Miss didn't look that great against Washington State.
There have been times where Georgia hasn't looked that great.
Yeah, and Georgia didn't exactly, they weren't world beaters this past weekend either. So yeah, should be good.
So before we switch over to Tennessee, Alabama, what do you think happens with the Commodores and the Tigers?
I think Vanderbilt wins. I have the prediction at 28-24 right now. Yeah. The Commodores.
Yeah. I mean, how many points is LSU averaging?
I actually have it right here for you, sir.
And I hate to ask that because you play non-conference games where you score like 70.
Yeah, it kind of skews the numbers. They're at 28 right now, but their offense over the last couple games has not exactly been great either.
Mm-hmm.
Schedule.
What? I'm going to go lower scoring, and I'm going to say 23-20 Vanderbilt.
I mean, I think Vanderbilt would like it like that because that means you're shortening the game with the possessions, longer possessions, and winning the time of possession battle.
So I'm surprised I'm saying that, but I'm thinking about that. That's kind of where I'm going. All right, well, we'll see how that one plays out. It's going to be a great game, and enjoy it with us right here on News 2. We're thrilled we're going to be able to bring that one to you. When we return on Game Day Preview, it's the third Saturday in October, which means Tennessee and Alabama, and this is a big one.
Yeah.
This is another big one for both teams, and we'll preview that coming up next. All right, welcome back into Game Day Preview. Cory Curtis and Julian Mininsohn. We just got done talking about Vanderbilt and LSU, a game you'll see right here on News 2, Saturday at 11 a.m., Saturday in prime time at 6:30. it is the classic matchup. Tennessee, the Big Orange, taking on the Crimson Tide of Alabama. Both teams are 5-1, and we were just talking about it during the break, Julian, because we can't stop talking about sports because we're idiots. If Tennessee wins this game, they're in the driver's seat to go to the playoff because they've got a favorable schedule the rest of the way. And Alabama still has a bunch of tough games to go. So I think the pressure of this game is clearly on Alabama. Having said that, they have won 3 straight games over ranked teams. And I think the Tide are starting to get their mojo back. They're even running Wildcat with like 400-pound linemen. I think the Tide are feeling themselves again.
Yeah, and not just any 3 teams that try to wear you down. Georgia, obviously, that's a tough game to win on the road. Vanderbilt, the way they like to play, totally took Vanderbilt out of their game that they like to play. And then Mizzou, which they kind of grinded out at the end of the game. They are arguably the hottest team in the country right now just by how they're playing and who they've beaten. The big thing for Tennessee is they can't play like they have in recent weeks because they're kind of towing that line of making things a little dicey for them, particularly in close games. Well, you don't want to play with fire a little bit when it comes to Alabama.
Ty Simpson, you see there, a Tennessee native, is playing tremendous football for Bama at quarterback and is in the midst of the Heisman race squarely. But my concern for Tennessee is their run defense. I mean, Alabama's not having a prolific year running the football. They do have their running back, but their rushing numbers are not great. But if they go for 150, 200 against Tennessee,
night,
they may not be able to keep up on the scoreboard.
Yeah. Ty Simpson, I was actually surprised. He's been sacked 13 times this year, which is, I feel like, quite a bit.
How many of those were in the Florida State game?
I'd have to look. But Tennessee leads the SEC with 26 sacks as a team. They've been getting to the quarterback when they
just can't get to the running back.
They just can't get to the running back. The thing is, and Alabama, they haven't been able to get their run game going. So what's kind of going to give in that tug of war a little bit on Saturday? And I think that might decide the game.
I think that's why that's so key. If Tennessee gets right in the run defense, and look, Ty Simpson's good enough to win the game.
Yeah,
he is. But I don't know if you're Tennessee, if you're good enough to win the game, if Ty Simpson's rolling and they're running the football.
Yeah, he doesn't turn the ball over a lot. 16 touchdowns to just 1 interception. And what have we seen the last couple games with Tennessee? Though they don't have, maybe they didn't play their best offensively, the defense has forced key turnovers in big moments, which has kind of turned the tide of the game. And if you're not able to do that against an Alabama offense, they are going to pick you apart the entire way. They did it to Georgia. They did it for the most part against Missouri. They did it against Vanderbilt. And now we'll see if they could do it against Tennessee.
All right, well, let's go to Knoxville and hear from the Big Orange on the big matchup.
I mean a lot for this program, a lot for this team.
Yeah, everybody knows about the third Saturday of October. We know it's a rivalry, but we look at every week the same. Come in, we got to win on Tuesday, got to win on Wednesday, win out during the week. They're a good team, so we got to be locked in for sure, but we look at every game on Saturday is the same.
I believe Bama was one of your finalists coming out of high school, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Do you know a lot of guys down there, or does just the fact that you went down there on visits and stuff make this a fun game to play in for you?
I know a couple down there, but just being the fact that was one of my top schools really juices things up for me, mentally, just for me, really. I've different type of motivation this week,
Yeah, they have a very good secondary. Of course, everybody knows Alabama has all those top players, but, we just really need to focus on doing our job.
Mike, you grew up in SEC country, and you were on the team last year, but a much different role this year. What's it been like, being in these games that you grew up watching, being in the middle of them?
It's truly a blessing, just being a kid at home, just watching on TV, and from now me actually being in the game, it's kind of unreal. So I really just try to enjoy the moment.
Third Saturday in October, great historical game, rivalry game, and it'll be a great environment against a great football team, and looking forward to it. Got to go do a great job in our preparation, and you look at how they're playing offensively, defensively, special teams. playing at a really high level right now. Quarterback, playmakers out on the outside offensively for them, and defensively done a great job throughout the last few weeks here. Pass defense is one of the top in the country, and their front seven is big, strong, physical, and athletic. So, be a great test. And again, this is why you come to Tennessee to play in a game like this, and a great rivalry game with Alabama.
So Alabama comes into this game 3-0 in the SEC. Tennessee is 2-1 in the SEC. But I just want to bring up the defensive stat here of points against in 3 SEC games. Tennessee has allowed 109 points in 3 SEC games. That is like...
They've done it with the turnovers.
That's about 36. That's 36 a game. Alabama, 59. They're giving up fewer than 20 points per game.
To answer your question from earlier, out of the 13 sacks against Ty Simpson this year, 3 of them were in that Florida State game. And that's the most of any game this year. That's the game, of course, Alabama lost.
Well, and you're throwing late because you're down big.
Yes, and so it's been about 2 in the 5 games, in each of the 5 games since.
Yeah,
so
well, I mean, we'll see if they can protect him. Look, if I'm Kalen DeBoer, I'm going to run the football and see.
Yeah, you haven't proven you can beat me yet or beat the run yet.
Yeah, and if you can't run it, then Ty, we need you.
Yeah,
But you've got to have Jam Miller in there, running the football. And I talked about how they've struggled to run. They're averaging 3.7 as a team this year, but Miller is well over 4.5 yards a carry.
Yeah,
and I don't know the second young man's name, but he is also well over 4 yards.
Oh yeah, it's Kevin Riley.
Yeah, so those two guys have their numbers are considerably better. But normally you would see an Alabama lead back up over 5-6 yards a carry.
You know who Alabama is going to miss, or Tennessee is going to miss this game is Jermon McCoy.
Yes,
he's arguably their best.
He's
player.
First round pick,
and the receivers that Alabama has with Ryan Williams, of course, we know what he can do. Jeremy Bernard, he's been pretty good. Isaiah Horton, all of those guys have at least 3 touchdowns this year, and that's what Alabama likes to do. So he will be sorely missed in this game. Hopefully, you get him back soon if you're Tennessee.
Well, I mean, Arian Carter has been a great player for Tennessee at middle linebacker.
Yeah,
but he's got to have his best game.
Yeah,
he's got to have his, because if anybody's going to stop the run game, it's got to be number 7.
Yeah,
he's got to. I mean, he's got to have. I mean, was it Mississippi State? He had 17 tackles,
and he had the pass deflection in the end zone, which won them the game.
We talk about Jeffrey Simmons with the Titans and how you have these unfair expectations of him. Well, just like with Peter Parker, with great power comes great responsibility. Okay, so Spider-Man, Arian Carter has got.
Is Josh Heupel Uncle Ben?
Uncle Ben died, so no. All right.
Well, he's the one he did say, "Great power comes great responsibility."
But I said,
"Please, Arian."
I said it. So maybe I'll die. But there he is, number 7 right there. He's got to have one. I mean, he's got to have like a 15-20 tackle game. And I know you're saying at home, that's crazy, Cory. No, it's not. Arian Carter's a great football player. They're going to try to run the football. That's his position. He's got to strap it up, and he's got to go get them. He can't miss tackles. You can't miss tackles. You've got to be sure-handed. You've got to hold up guys till the cavalry arrives. And he's got to, at one point, separate man from ball.
You talked about the LSU Vanderbilt game maybe being a little bit more low scoring because of the struggles of LSU offensively and the way Vanderbilt plays. This one, I have a feeling, could be a shootout.
Well, I mean, if you're Tennessee, it has to be.
Yeah.
Because they have been able to stop enough people. They couldn't stop Mississippi State. They couldn't stop Arkansas. They couldn't stop Georgia. They made Gunnar Stockton look like a Heisman contender. I mean, he gave up more points to Georgia than Austin Peay did.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. A lot more. And, this is a team we're talking about for the playoffs. So, they've got to get it together. I'm not being hard on them, but they're going to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, this is the biggest game of the year.
Yeah,
this is the biggest game of the year because you mentioned it at the top of this segment. They got Kentucky, Oklahoma, New Mexico State, Florida, and then the Vanderbilt game to end the season.
I mean, Florida, the guy could be out of a job by the time they get there.
Like you win, you are in the driver's seat to get back to the playoff.
And if you've got 2 losses, then
you don't have any. There's not a lot of games to convince.
You don't want to be nervous playing Vanderbilt the last game. And I know Tennessee fans will say, we're never nervous when we play Vanderbilt. You don't want to be nervous playing against Vanderbilt that last game of the year. All right? You just don't. It'd be great if you had that check cashed.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll see what they can do. I hate predicting both of these games.
Yeah.
And not because I don't want to predict against this team. I don't know. What do you think happens?
Alabama wins in a close game, 31-24.
You think Ty Simpson's the difference?
I think he's the difference between a team needing to make a play and not making a play. I just trust the kid right now. I mean, his touchdown to turnover ratio, the yardage. I mean, it's Heisman-esque, and they are rolling.
Look, if you put his stats and their record on Arch Manning, he's running away with the Heisman.
Yes,
running away with it.
Yeah,
but he's not. He's Ty Simpson.
I think Bama wins by a touchdown.
All right. So what did you say? 31-24.
Yeah.
Okay. So I agree. It's going to be higher scoring. I think it'll be closer, but I think I'll take Alabama 34-31.
Okay.
And I think Jam Miller has a really big day. Yeah. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope Tennessee's run defense gets it together. But, it's just like when people ask me to predict the Titans. I can't predict something else until you show me you can do it. And right now they're not showing us that they can do it. And I'm being really hard on a 5-1 team, but they want to play for the national championship.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about being good here. We're talking about being great here.
Yeah, we talked about also them being kind of such an on the fence top 10, 11 team. When if you're a top 11, 10 team in the country, you should be really darn good.
They've played 2 overtime games in the SEC and then barely held on against Arkansas. All of them have been super tight. There's the lineup once again on News 2. LSU Vandy at 11 a.m. You'll be at that football game. You can watch Julian at News 2 at 10. At 2:30, though, Ole Miss and Georgia. And then 6:30, Tennessee and Alabama. This has been Game Day Preview. I'm Cory Curtis for Julian Mininsohn. We'll be right back here next week. We'll also be back tomorrow for a Sports Extra Daily. We'll see you then.